Ever feel like the news just throws bad vibes your way?
Oh, absolutely. Sometimes it's like a constant barrage of negativity, right?
Yeah, it can be tough. But today, we're switching gears. We're going global, but for good news, we're doing a deep dive into stories of kindness from all over.
Sounds refreshing.
Bet.
I'm in.
Think of it like a kindness passport. We're going from bustling cities to quiet villages, seeing how people connect, all based on these heartwarming stories from the Heartbeat Celebrating Human Connection program.
So, like, are we talking about grand gestures or those everyday acts of kindness?
Both. Ready to hear about kids turning a school gym into Santa's workshop, or a beach cleanup that turned into an eco-movement?
Okay, you've got my attention. Let's dive in.
All right, our first theme is kids making a difference, and we're starting in Toronto. A group of elementary school students, they launched this incredible initiative called Get This. Every child deserves a gift.
Oh, that's sweet. So, like, a toy drive?
It was way more than that. They saw that foster kids often miss out on the holiday season, so they didn't just collect gifts, they crafted handmade invitations.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, and they spread the word online, went door to door in their neighborhoods, even got sponsors to provide holiday meals.
Hold on, so these kids managed all that. That's incredible.
It really is. They turned their school gym into a full-on Santa's workshop, overflowing with gifts, decorations, the whole 9 yards.
I can only imagine how those foster kids felt. To be seen and cared for like that, especially during the holidays, it must have been so heartwarming.
Absolutely. It shows that you don't have to be an adult to make a real difference.
Right. These kids are proof that even small hands, when they work together, can lift hearts and make a lasting impact. So inspiring.
Okay, now let's hop over to Sydney, Australia. We've got a group of teenagers who became the Beach Guardians.
Beach Guardians, what's that all about?
Well, they were concerned about pollution on their local beach, so they organized a massive cleanup.
Okay, good for them. Beaches should be clean.
But here's the thing. They collected over 2 tons of trash.
2 tons, that's insane.
And they didn't stop there. They launched educational programs in schools, formed clubs, even worked with local businesses to reduce plastic use.
They turned a one-time cleanup into a whole movement.
Exactly. Talk about taking action. It shows how much we can achieve when we care enough to make a difference. Ever thought about what small act you could turn into something bigger?
Food for thought. It makes you wonder, right? What could we all do if we put our minds to it?
Now, let's switch gears. Our next theme is sharing goes beyond stuff. We're heading to Cape Town, South Africa, where they have this amazing project called Books for All.
Books for all. Sounds intriguing.
So picture this. Street corners turned into free libraries.
Like little book stands.
Yeah, but with beautiful local art, too. It's not just about the books, it's about creating a community around reading. It sparked literacy classes, discussions, even inspired some local art projects.
So they're creating this whole ecosystem of learning and creativity.
Exactly. It shows how knowledge can be a gift that keeps on giving, you know? When we share it, everyone benefits.
Absolutely. It's like opening up a world of possibilities. Speaking of sharing resources, let's move on to Kampala, Uganda.
All right, Kampala, here we come. This one is so inspiring. They took an abandoned plot of land and turned it into a food forest.
A food forest? What's that? Like a community garden?
Kind of. But it's designed to be self-sustaining, like a natural forest, but with fruits, veggies, herbs, all kinds of edible plants.
Wow, so they're providing food and teaching about sustainability?
Exactly. And anyone can harvest from it. They're also teaching others how to cultivate their own gardens.
It's like they're turning a problem, this empty land, into a solution that feeds people and brings them together.
It really shows how we can turn challenges into opportunities, right? What skills or resources could you share in your community?
It makes you think, doesn't it? What do I have to offer?
Okay, time for another theme shift. We're diving into small acts, huge impact. And we're starting with a story from the busy streets of Mumbai, India.
Mumbai. Okay. Always love a good Mumbai story.
So, picture this. A citywide strike. Everything's in chaos, and there's this elderly woman stranded, doesn't know how to get home.
Oh no, that sounds stressful.
Luckily, there was this taxi driver, Rajan, finishing his shift. He could have just driven past, but he noticed her distress.
Good for him.
He went above and beyond, drove her all the way home, refused any payment, even bought her snacks.
Wow, what a kind soul. He really saw her as a person, not just someone to drive around.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so powerful. It wasn't about some grand gesture, just simple acts of care that made a huge difference.
It reminds us that we all have the power to make someone's day a little brighter.
Now let's get cozy and head over to Chicago, where we've got a group of volunteers called the Warmth Weavers.
Warmth Weavers, what a lovely name.
They brave the freezing Chicago winters to help those experiencing homelessness. They give out blankets, warm clothes, food, but they also make sure to have conversations with people.
That's so important, to see the person, not just their situation.
And get this, the blankets they give out, they're all handmade.
Ah, that's such a beautiful touch. It adds this whole other layer of warmth and care.
It's like they're giving warmth in every sense of the word.
It makes you realize that sometimes the most impactful acts of kindness are those that come from the heart.
Okay, ready for a quick trip to Tokyo.
Always. What's happening in Tokyo?
Picture this. Packed train, rush hour, a young mom struggling with her baby.
Oh, I can totally relate to that. Babies on public transport can be challenging.
Right. And in a place like Tokyo, which is known for being reserved, another passenger just steps up and offers to hold the baby.
Oh, that's so sweet.
It was a tiny gesture, but it created this ripple of warmth. Like, even in a crowded, anonymous space, human connection can shine through.
It's a good reminder that we never know what someone else is going through, and a small act of kindness can make a big difference.
So that's it for our first batch of heartwarming stories, but we've got plenty more to come. We'll be back in a moment with more incredible acts of kindness from around the globe.
I'm ready for more heartwarming inspiration. Let's do it. Welcome back. I don't know about you, but I'm already feeling so inspired by all these stories.
Me too. It's amazing how much good is happening in the world. Ready for more?
Absolutely. Bring it on.
All right, our next theme is sharing goes beyond stuff. We're going back to Cape Town, South Africa, to that Books for All project. Remember those street corner libraries?
Oh, yeah, the ones with the cool art.
Those are the ones. It's not just about giving people access to books. It's about creating a whole culture around reading.
Right, they've got those literacy classes, the discussions, even art projects inspired by the books.
It's really incredible. It shows how sharing knowledge can spark so much creativity and connection.
It really does. And it makes you think, what can we share in our own communities to make a difference?
Speaking of sharing, let's head over to Kampala, Uganda. They have this amazing project called the Food Forest.
A food forest. Okay, I'm intrigued.
So it's like a community garden, but it's designed to be self-sustaining, like a real forest, but with edible plants.
So they're providing food for the community.
Exactly. And they're teaching people how to cultivate their own gardens, too. It's all about sustainability and empowering people.
That's fantastic. Turning an empty lot into a source of food and knowledge, it's just amazing.
Okay, ready for a shifting gears. Our next theme is small acts. Huge impact.
I love this theme. Sometimes it's those little things that make the biggest difference.
Exactly. And our first story takes us back to Mumbai, India. Remember Rajan, the taxi driver we talked about earlier?
Oh, yeah, the one who helped the elderly woman during the strike.
That's him. His story really highlights how a small act of kindness can have a huge impact. He saw someone in need and just decided to help. No questions asked.
It's so easy to get caught up in our own lives and just walk past someone who's struggling. Rajan's story is a good reminder to slow down and look around, you know?
Absolutely. We can all be a little more like Rajan.
Agreed. Now, let's go to Chicago. I'm ready for a heartwarming Chicago story.
All right, this one's all about warmth, both literally and figuratively. Have you heard of the Warmth Weavers?
Warmth Weavers. No, tell me more.
So it gets super cold in Chicago during the winter, and they go out and help those experiencing homelessness. They give out blankets, warm clothes, food, all that essential stuff.
That's so important, especially during those brutal winters.
But here's what makes them extra special. All the blankets they give out, they're handmade.
Really? Ah, that's such a personal touch. It's like a hug you can wrap yourself in.
And they always take the time to talk to people, make them feel seen and heard.
It's those little things that make all the difference, you know? To feel like you're more than just your circumstance.
Okay, time for another quick trip to Tokyo.
Always up for a Tokyo adventure.
All right, picture this. It's rush hour, you're on a packed train, and there's a young mom struggling with her baby.
Oh, I've been there. It can be tough.
And in a city like Tokyo, where people tend to keep to themselves, another passenger just offers to hold the baby for her.
Wow, that's really heartwarming. It's like a tiny spark of connection in a sea of strangers.
Exactly. It just goes to show that even in the most unexpected places, human kindness can shine through.
It's a good reminder to keep your eyes open for those little opportunities to make a difference.
Now, let's shift gears a bit and talk about unity through creativity. We're starting with a story from Berlin, Germany.
Berlin, okay.
Yep.
Always a good place for creativity.
Right. So this story is about a restaurant owner named Hans. He started this incredible program called Couche des Chances, which means Kitchen of Opportunities.
What a cool name. What's it all about?
Well, he saw that refugees were struggling to integrate into German society, so he decided to use his restaurant to help.
That's so awesome. How does it work?
He teaches them German cooking, but he also encourages them to share their own culinary traditions.
So it's a two-way street.
Exactly. It's all about breaking down barriers and creating a space where everyone feels welcome and valued.
Food is such a powerful way to connect with people, too.
It really is. It's like a universal language.
Okay, now I'm getting hungry. What's next?
All right, let's travel to Beirut, Lebanon. Remember that devastating explosion that happened there a few years ago?
Yeah, I remember that. It was heartbreaking.
In the aftermath, a group of musicians decided to hold free concerts amidst the ruins.
Wow, that's powerful. Music can be so healing.
Right. It was their way of offering solace and hope to their community.
It's amazing how music can transcend language and culture, you know? It speaks to something deep within us.
Absolutely. And in times of tragedy, it can be a powerful source of unity and resilience.
I love that. Okay, what else do we have?
Okay, last story for this part. We're going back to Brazil, to that retired teacher, Maria, who turned a van into a mobile library.
Oh, the bookmobile. I love that story.
Right. She's bringing books and education to remote areas where kids cannot have access otherwise.
It's incredible how dedicated she is to spreading the joy of reading.
She really embodies that idea that it's never too late to make a difference.
It's so true.
Okay, so that's it for our second batch of heartwarming stories. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more inspiring acts of kindness from around the globe. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Ready for more inspiring stories?
Absolutely. I'm already feeling so uplifted by all the kindness we've witnessed so far.
Me too. It's amazing how much good is happening all around us. For this final part of our deep dive, we're focusing on unity through creativity. It's fascinating how people use their passions to connect with others and make a difference.
It's like creativity becomes this bridge that spans cultures, right?
Exactly. Our first stop takes us back to Berlin, Germany, to that restaurant owner Hans and his Kitchen of Opportunities.
Oh, yeah, the one where he helps refugees through cooking.
That's the one. He teaches them German cooking, but he also encourages them to share their own culinary traditions.
I love that. It's like a two-way cultural exchange happening right there in the kitchen.
And as they cook together, they're breaking down barriers, creating friendships, and building a sense of belonging.
It's a beautiful reminder that food really can bring people together. It's like this universal language that everyone understands.
Speaking of powerful forms of expression, let's go to Beirut, Lebanon. We talked earlier about the devastating explosion there.
Yeah, it was such a tragedy.
Well, in the aftermath, a group of musicians decided to hold free concerts amidst the ruins.
Wow, that gives me chills. Music
Yeah.
can be so powerful, especially in times of grief and healing.
Right. Their music became a source of comfort and unity for the entire community. It helped them process their trauma, find hope, and start to rebuild.
It's amazing how music can speak to us on such a deep level, even without words.
And for our final story, we're circling back to Tokyo, Japan. Remember that young mom struggling with her baby on the packed train?
Oh, yeah, the one where a stranger offered to hold her baby.
That's the one. It was
Yeah.
such a small gesture, but it made such a big difference. It's a perfect example of how even the smallest acts of kindness can create a ripple effect of warmth and connection.
It's like those small sparks of humanity that remind us we're all in this together.
And that's what Heartbeats Celebrating Human Connection is all about, right? Finding those moments of kindness, big and small, that remind us of the beauty and resilience of the human spirit.
It's been such an inspiring journey. I feel like my heart is full.
Me too. So as we wrap up this episode, let's all make a commitment to carry these stories with us, to look for opportunities to spread kindness in our own lives, and to celebrate the connections that make us human.
I love that. And remember that quote by Mark Twain, "Kindness is the language which the deaf can hear and the blind can see." Let's all try to speak that language a little more often.
What a beautiful thought to end on. Until next time, keep those heartbeats of kindness strong.